Bajaj Pulsar. It's just not a name, it's just not a motorcycle. It is an emotion for millions of bikers. When the OG Pulsar made its debut over 2 decades back, youngsters finally had access to a performance motorcycle without breaking the bank. It looked macho, and more importantly, it disrupted the Indian two-wheeler market forever. Over the years, many iterations of the Pulsar have come and gone. What we have with us today is the biggest Pulsar yet, the new Pulsar NS400Z. Yes, it is pretty late to the party, but as they say, better late than never. This again is a game changer because for 1,85,000 rupees, you are getting an almost 400cc motorcycle. But in today's video, we are focusing on how is the performance of the new Pulsar, does it live up to the Pulsar badge, and more importantly, does it deliver a thrilling performance? Powering the new Pulsar NS400Z is the same engine as seen on the Dominar 400. This was done so as to keep the cost under check, as the Dominar engine was recently updated to BS 6.2 emission norms. Another reason for this move is that the Dominar engine is a tried and tested unit, while the 399cc engine on the 390 Duke is all new. Yes, the engine is similar to the Dominar 400, but the new Pulsar NS400Z is 18 kgs lighter than its sports tourer sibling, and the difference in performance is clearly visible. In terms of acceleration, it shoots off the line. 0 to 60 kph is done under 3 seconds. 0 to 100 kph is dismissed in under 7 seconds. So in terms of performance, this new Pulsar is properly quick. What I really like about this engine is its chunky mid-range and good top-end performance. The good mid-range performance means that it's a very fun to ride motorcycle in the city and also while cruising or overtaking on the highway. The engine tuning is very much like that of a cruiser, and you can see the Dominar 400's DNA in this engine as well. You can cruise at 100 kph at 5000 rpm to 120 kph, a shade above 6000 rpm. So in terms of cruising ability, the NS400 is really good, and only you feel minor vibes on the foot pegs while doing those speeds. So as a tourer, the NS400 is very impressive. But this engine isn't perfect as well, especially at low speeds. Although the NS400 gets an extra teeth on the rear sprocket compared to the Dominar 400 for better low-end performance, that isn't the case. The NS400 feels a bit jerky at low speeds, and you can feel a lot of vibrations on the handlebar, especially under 4000 rpm. So at low speeds, you'll have to constantly feed in the revs to keep the motorcycle happy, which means in crawling stop-and-go traffic, the NS400 doesn't feel too happy. Now let's talk about the most important figure for Indian consumers, and that is fuel efficiency. Bajaj claims a real-world number of 28.5 kilometers per litre, and it gets a 12-litre fuel tank. So you're looking at a real-world range of 300 kilometers, which isn't bad. But given the good touring nature of the engine, a 14-litre fuel tank would have added more convenience for the rider. The NS400Z is loaded with electronic aids such as ride-by-wire, various riding modes, traction control and ABS. The 4 riding modes are different engine maps which have been tuned to deliver the power and torque in a distinct manner. Sport and road modes offer you the max power, and even the top speed achieved is the same. Rain and off-road offers a softer tune, and even the top-end performance is less. In off-road mode, the rear ABS isn't disengaged completely, but there is less intervention. Traction control can be switched off only in sport and off-road mode. So let's tackle ergonomics first, and first up is the seat height of the NS400. As you can see, I can easily flat foot on this motorcycle. I am 5 feet 10 tall and weigh around 100 kg, and I don't think so even for shorter riders the seat height could be a issue of concern. The only thing that can bother them is the width of the bike. It is a bit wide, so maybe shorter riders might find it a bit difficult. Now coming to the riding triangle, the NS400 ditches the clip-on handlebar for a conventional flat wide handlebar. As you can see, the riding posture is very upright and very comfortable. The foot pegs are slightly rear set and slightly sporty, but the overall riding posture is very nice and very likable. Even before the bike was launched, the hot topic was the styling of the flagship Pulsar, and meme pages had a gala time. Even I was a bit shocked with the styling of the new Pulsar, but in person it does look better. The design highlight is the new face of the bike with lightning-shaped DRLs that have a frost finish and a large projector headlight. Other design changes includes a revised fuel tank extension and a new panel on the tail section. The gold anodized finish on the upside-down fork, chunky fuel tank and radiator shrouds gives the new Pulsar a butch stance. However, in profile and the tail section is very similar to the Pulsar NS400, which is very disappointing. Also, I'm not a big fan of the underbelly exhaust muffler. One aspect where the new Pulsar NS400 impressed me is in the fit and finish department. There were hardly any loose wires, weld quality is good and the panel gaps are tight. However, the real test of quality of any Bajaj motorcycle is in the long run, and that is something we have to wait and watch. On the features front, you get all LED lighting, digital instrument console, USB charger and Bluetooth connectivity for call alerts, turn-by-turn navigation and music control. The instrument console is interesting. It is a combination of a LCD and dot matrix screen. There is a new switch cube that lets you wander through the various settings. While the console has loads of information, it is cluttered and difficult to read. A large LCD display would have done the job, but then again it would have added to the cost. Earlier in the video, I had mentioned that this motorcycle is 18 kgs lighter than the Dominar 400, and that has blessed it with great performance. And the same theme continues in the handling department as well. Bajaj engineers have also done many changes. The rake angle has been tightened, the swing arm is shorter than the NS200, and all these modifications have blessed the NS400 with great handling dynamics. It tips into corners very easily and goes through fast corners pretty well. Only when you push the motorcycle at the limit that the rear tire comes under pressure and it tries to slide. But there's a quick fix of upgrading to grippier tires. What isn't a quick fix is the handling at low speeds. The motorcycle feels a bit lazy to steer. Okay, it is not as heavy as the Dominar 400, but it does feel a bit lazy at low speeds, and that isn't a great experience, especially when you're commuting. The perimeter frame is the same unit as seen on the Dominar 400, but the suspension is different. The flagship Pulsar gets upside-down fork and a monoshock suspension setup with 130 mm of travel. The ride quality is much better than the Dominar as it tackles potholes easily. But on sharp speed breakers, the rebound is snappy and you do feel the jolt on your back. While we didn't face any issues with the low ground clearance, on large speed breakers and deep potholes, the bottom might scrape. The disc brake setup is again similar to the Dominar. While the bite is decent, the lever progression is missing, especially on the rear. On the track, I could feel the brake lever coming in after hard braking. Now this is an issue when you push the bike hard. For daily use, they do a fair job. The Bajaj Pulsar NS400Z is a very likable motorcycle. It offers you thrilling performance, has good handling, and the amount of electronic aids it offers for this price point is incredible. And being a Bajaj motorcycle, running costs will be low and spare parts will be easily available. But it isn't a perfect motorcycle. There are engine vibration at low RPMs. The steering feels very lazy at low speeds, and the styling, it doesn't look very distinctive from the Pulsar NS200. Now this being the flagship Pulsar, we were expecting this styling to be much more different, much more sporty. So in that sense, it is a bit of a disappointment. But you know what? All these flaws fade away when you take pricing into consideration. The kind of performance that Bajaj is offering you for this price point is really incredible. I think this has been the Bajaj DNA. The motorcycles were never perfect, but they offered you thrilling performance at a great price point. And that's the same case with the biggest Pulsar yet. And at this price point, the new Pulsar NS400Z competes against the likes of the Suzuki Gixxer 250, Yamaha MT-15 and the Hero Charisma XMR. But at this price point, it is offering you so much more than those motorcycles. It is another Pulsar movement. It is enabling the Indian riders to access a 400cc motorcycle without breaking the bank. In that sense, the new Pulsar NS400 is a true Pulsar. It is another game changer from Bajaj.